We've got one or two changes on this container garden at the moment. The thicker clothes are starting to come out. It's cloudy, it's a bit cooler at nights, and we're getting shorter days. So it's time we did some autumn planting. And over the last couple of days, that's exactly what I've started doing. I'll give you a quick look at what we've changed so far. The peppers are still going, and we've got quite a lot of fruit on there. But the Tumbling Tom tomato plants have now come to an end. So we've took those out, and I'm going to replace those with probably a few flowers, just to keep it looking bright through autumn and winter. But this is one of the changes we've done. We started planting the spring cabbages, and they're Durham early ones. I've put a few just at the front of this planter where we've got that celery, and you can see that these pepper plants, even though it's now a bit cooler, are doing really well. There's some really big peppers on there, and some are still trying to ripen. So those cabbages that I've now put in that planter are Durham early cabbages, so they don't take as long to reach maturity. But you could also use something like Greyhound as well. That's a good variety and very reliable as well. But I thought we'd try these Durhams out this year, see how they get on. We are still getting a few tomatoes on this plant ripening, so we're just taking them as they come ready. So it's definitely changed quite a lot to what it were in late spring, but we've still got something on go. This container of carrots is still looking alright, and we haven't thinned those, so I'm looking to harvest lots of baby carrots from there. Just not yet. I did notice this morning. Those winds have got back up overnight, so it's blown as apple trees over. Luckily they're not damaged. Just lost a couple of leaves, so not a big problem at all, as long as these stems are still alright. However, this plant is a different story altogether. That's one of us rocket first early plants. We're trying to grow potatoes ready in time for Christmas, but it looks like they've succumbed to blight. As you can see, there's lots of patches all over these leaves, and this one has died back. So these plants aren't going to last much longer at all. But if we have a dig around, you can see that we have got potatoes in there. How many, I don't know. There's another one right there, and it looks to be a pretty good size as well. Make sure we keep those covered up, obviously. The plant may be dying back, but if the light gets to those potatoes, they're going to turn green and they'll be no good as well. So something like this we're going to have to empty as soon as possible. And if your plants turn out like this, don't put that foliage in compost, because that blight can come back in spring. So what you want to do is completely pull this plant, put it in a bag and put it in bin, which is what I'm going to be doing quite shortly, because it's definitely not going to grow anymore, and the longer we leave it, the worse them potatoes will probably get. We've actually got a couple of containers for those potatoes. Two are like that one, but one is still fully green, so fingers crossed at least one's going to make it. That's as other potato plants. You can see that one is definitely not as bad, but this one on the other hand is starting to go same, so that's another to empty. And so is this one. Somebody did comment on channel quite recently saying, is it okay to try and grow spinach at this time of year? And it definitely is, because spinach bolts if it's too hot, and I think we've definitely passed those days. So if you want to sow some spinach to harvest through autumn, then just get your seeds sown as soon as possible and get them on the way. Maybe start them off indoors and then transplant them outside at a later date. And was also asked about the netting for these oak tunnels. Should we still be covering them up to protect us brassicas and any other plants that we might have in there? Anything that might attract cabbage white. And the answer to that is leave those nets on. I've still seen a few about, they've not gone quite yet, but they will soon start to disappear. But if your nets is already up, you might as well just leave them up. It's going to help them be protected from other things as we go through winter. And you probably noticed that we put those cabbage plants into the same container that we've harvested things from, and all I've done with that is churned all that compost up, removed any big pieces of root, and then added fish blood and bone to amend that compost to use again. And something else that we did was this: we plant as brassicas really deep, so we cover that stem up and then they'll stay upright as they're growing. And we've done that with them all, as you can see with this one, right down to those first leaves. We're going to get stabler plants by doing that. And we're still getting strawberries. There's one or two on here that's looking really good, so we'll take those off today as well. We've definitely still got some really good size ones, which is brilliant. And as you can see, we've got a lot more still to come. That is not bad for this time of year, and I haven't took them all off yet. I'll do that later. And then we've still got this container, quite a small one, but we're growing carrots in there. These aren't doing too bad, to be fair. They're the round ones that we've grown before. I'm going to start and empty a few more containers over the next couple of days. Definitely those potatoes, because whatever we've got is all we're getting from those plants. So we might as well take those, get them used, and then we don't miss out. And then we'll have a look and see how many carrots we can get out of here and what size we get. So as you can see, one or two things not as good as we'd like, but we are going to get something from them, and that's all that matters. It is the end of September almost, so the colder days are definitely on the way. I've noticed that the nights are starting to get a bit cooler, below 50, so a lot of your plants are going to struggle at that. But we've got this first spring cabbages in, and I might pop in a couple of cauliflowers to overwinter as well. So even though we're starting to cut back on the amount of plants that we've got, we're going to get quite a few put in these containers and see what we can get from now until next spring. If you want to see what else we're going to be putting in these planters and maybe some containers, then please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I'll see you next time. And hopefully it won't be as long before I put another video on. We just have been very busy in this van, and I'll be making a video on that and put it on Caravan Channel quite shortly. And I'll show you the heaters we've bought, how much they cost and where we're going to put them. So I'll leave a link in description to Caravan Channel if you'd like to watch that video. Anyway, I'll see you again very soon. Take care.